Welcome to Tiger Tropics. Today we're doing a review on the Eheim Reflex 800. It's a water sterilizer. This one is a UVC sterilizer. Reason why this one, because it's Eheim. Eheim normally do pretty good stuff. So I wanted to try it out. I'm trying it out on the 260, see what happens, see if there's any difference. But you know, thing is with UVs, they're designed to sterilise the water. Now, because I've got cichlids in there, obviously each one of them cichlids is valued quite a lot, and sometimes they can be sensitive. So I don't want to. The idea is if I set one of these up, it should kill the majority of any germs or anything out floating about in the water. The way that it achieves, the way that sterilizers or UV sterilizers achieve this is altering the nucleic acids of the biomolecules of the microbes, and basically it alters the DNA. It makes them inactive, and this one apparently has a direct route going through it. Other UV lights will have rerouting, but this apparently it directly goes over the light, which makes it a lot more effective. Eheim say 1.8 times more effective than a UV light. So all that sounds great. I don't know how that's going to sort of translate, but I was looking at the mountings on this and how it will go together. Really like this plug design, very unusual. Right, and it's got a fuse in there as well. That's really cool. The mount as well seems pretty easy. Pretty sure it'd be quite easy to fit on. And another thing I like is these quick release sections here. Now the idea is when you have this section here, you should be able to disconnect this and take off just this section here. So I think that's pretty cool. That's pretty cool. In fact, because I'm using a fluval filter, my concern was the pipe fitting. Now, what I ended up doing is just taking a section of pipe and I put it onto the connector, which as you can see looks like that, and I tell it very snug. I put a little a cable tie on that section there, wound it up, and it seems pretty solid, so hopefully there'll be no leaks there. So basically that's going to go from the outlet of the filter into the unit and then into the tank. So I like the whole thing that you can, if this is mounted, just undo these and take off the unit if you want, or the filter, however it is. It looks pretty simple, quite simple mounting points there. I like the fact that we can mount up the power pack as well. And yeah, so far so good. I'm hoping that if it goes this way around like that, so I'm hoping that the fitting is going to be pretty easy to do. And yeah, so what I'll do is, first of all, I'll have a look to see where this will go in relation to the filter, where I can basically get to it easier. In fact, the main point would be have this unit running, not really touch it until maybe you need to change the bulb on it, which I think comes out by unscrewing these screws here. Let me know if I'm wrong in the comment section, or is it here? I think it's here. Basically, it will come out and you just interchange them. I think I found them for about £20.99, something like that. So it's not too expensive, and obviously I don't know how long they're going to last, but yeah, we'll find out. This model comes in 3 different sizes, from an 80 litre tank up to an 800 litre tank. Apparently this is the 800 litre, so it should be more than sufficient for what I've got. And even if I move it to the 180, it should be more than enough. Obviously, I don't know how good it's going to be, but being Eheim, they're pretty solid. That's a pretty solid unit. So yeah, I'll have a little look around underneath the cabinet, see exactly where I'm going to mount it, and then we'll carry on there. Okay, look for a rough area where you want to put it. Remember to leave some room on the other side for the power pack. So mount the power pack first, I think, or at least leave some space for the power pack. Mount the mounting maybe first and go that route around. Now, one thing I do find silly is instead of flat mounting these, they're in the middle of the box, which means you're going to have 2 long screws going in there, and to be honest, when you're trying to do a tidy job, it kind of looks a little bit poo. And I think that's a little bit of an oversight there, but I'll mount it something like that. Right, well, I don't know if you can see it, where the screws are, you've got this gap, and if I screw in any further, it goes through the other side, which is fantastic. Well thought out. If you'd just had it flush on one side, I could have used small screws and in it goes. So that's a bit annoying, to be honest. Okay, remember, even after you take apart the canister, when you disconnect the canister pipes from the actual canister, this pipe here is going to have water in it. So stop yourself from having a bit of a drama. Best thing to do is take this thing off, which as you can see, nice and easy. Take this off and get it ready for the fact that that's going to drain as soon as you disconnect it from the connectors. So what you want to do is disconnect the outlet pipe, so that's going to go on the other end, and like I said, have a bucket ready so to catch that water, because obviously you don't want it all pouring all over the place. Right, get it out of the way. That's it. So now what you want to do is connect up the inlet, the outlet, sorry, pipe, which is already connected to the UV, to the other end, which is going to go in there. Because of this handy design, and I've got to give it to them for this, you literally, that goes in here. Nope, it goes in here. There. And winds up. Make sure these are tight. You are going to end up having a drama afterwards if you don't. And that goes on the top of the unit up here. I had to lower it a little bit because of the clearance on the top. Like I say, I'm hoping this doesn't leak. You know, I've done it well enough. Once I connect it, we'll find out. Once it's connected, might be an idea just to check, see if there's any leaks. Like I say, don't want any dramas. Make sure everything's in its place. Reconnect from the top. And yeah, once you're happy that nothing's leaking, fire it up. Okay, well, we seem to be having flow going through it. No leaks so far. It's looking alright. So all that's really left to do is just plug it in. See, ideally, on the power pack or on the outside of the unit would have been a good idea to have something on so you know that it's on, but instead it's right underneath, as you can see on my phone. That indicates that little light there on the very underside that it's on. And if you just notice, just again a little leak there. Find out why. Like I said, got to be careful of leaks. Now, because I'm not using the other end of the fluval pipe, so I haven't got them little stoppers, I went to put a Jubilee clip on as well, hoping that that will basically seal it up, and as you can see, it ain't. Problem is when you get plastic fittings like this, if you over tighten it, you end up breaking the plastic on the inside, which kind of will just ruin the whole thing. So the way I think I'm going to address this is take it off the top again. I'm going to disconnect it off the canister filter, and then I'm going to put some plumber's tape on that connection and reinstall it. Okay, so what I'm going to do is get a bit of plumber's tape or PTF tape, put it all along this bit, hopefully create enough of a seal that we don't end up with another annoying leak. That should be plenty. So don't forget to put this section on there as well. And I thought this was pretty tight in the first place, but obviously not tight enough. So really push that in, and genuinely I think that should do the job. So wind this back on. And that should have done it. What I'll do, see, that feels too loose. So what I'll do is I'll place the Jubilee clip there just to be doubly sure. Fingers crossed. Yeah, it will hold. Well, that's obviously the plastic thread right there, so we want to wind that in as much as we can, like that, and then place that there. And like I say, be careful, especially when you're using power tools on plastic fitments, because you will break them, trust me, I know. Donut. There you go. Obviously make sure it's tight, but don't go stupid with it. A little bit more. Like I say, last thing I want it to do is end up leaking. Hoping a PTF tape will help. If not, it means I'm going to have to get one of these ends. It's a little bit annoying. But hey, that's what happens. I just jab myself in the hands. Alright, so Okay, well, fingers crossed. Okay, so far so good. Doesn't look like it's leaking. Obviously I would have preferred to do the job without a Jubilee clip, but it would have meant getting another pipe. These pipes are about 15 quid a pop, which is a little bit expensive. So I had to sort of improvise a little bit. Yeah, so like I say, Jubilee clip's not the most neatest, but it's about getting the job done, I suppose. The unit itself, sitting there, looks pretty tidy. Yeah, and I'll just definitely make sure that there's no leaks. Then I'll give you my final thoughts on the entire experience. Okay. All right. So I've just installed the Eheim Reflex UV. What was the experience like? Certain things I thought was a little bit, obviously, I would say this: make sure you got all your bits and pieces. Like the leak that I had, like obviously I'm not 100% happy with using the Jubilee clip. I would have preferred to have the ends for the fluval piping, but always being on a budget. Stuff like that works out expensive for me. So a lot of the products that I've got been lent to me or on loan to me. It was actually, I'd say, a few weeks prior to launching the channel. Reason what inspired me to actually do something was this tank behind me. I bought very cheap, very cheap. Even though certain friends of mine turned around and advised me not to get it, because obviously after a certain size you run risks of what exactly happened to it, which was the rear bottom seam had degraded and popped. So me with no experience on how to silicone anything, I took my time, cleaned it all out, re-siliconed it, and fingers crossed, seems to be fine. But as an amateur, and as someone who's learning, and someone who didn't start this hobby until March last year, I thought I'd done all right, even though it was very daunting. So yeah, when it comes to jobs like this, obviously if you can afford it, get all your bits and pieces together. Otherwise, I hope you've got stuff that you can sort of improvise with. I mean, I used Jubilee clip, I used the plumber's tape, and that seemed to work. So far so good. Fingers crossed that's the way it stays. Certain things I didn't really like was like the power pack, the way that it was recessed off. Now it was given to me by a really good friend of mine. So obviously I don't know if there was any mounting brackets. If there is, let me know. But as far as I know, it doesn't come with any mounting brackets. It's just got a couple of holes for some screws. And then what you have is, because the box is like that and the mounts are in between the box, you got the threads. It doesn't really look good. But if you've got something that's going to sit on that in-between piece, would be good. But just to have it flush mounted would have just solved all of that. But yeah, I mean, we get to see exactly how well the unit works and what effect it's going to have on the water clarity. And part of me is even thinking it's probably just going to be something that's going to prevent any bacteria blooms and stuff like that. If you notice behind me, this tank is situated by the window. And a lot of the time I have a black backing on it to stop the sun from coming through, creating algae. I've decided to take it off because a lot of the time, see, when I've done the silicone for the tank, I took the braces off the top and re-siliconed them. Didn't think that them top the top mounts that go around were actually sealing anything. So it was a bit of silicone there, a bit of silicone there, squashed it on, so just it held onto it, like round the structural points, just so there was a bit of extra rigidity there, and that was it. So what happens now is when I overfill it, which I like overfilling the tanks, it drips around the back of the tank. Now because you've got I use black paper, what ends up happening is it sort of drips like that and you get the marks. Looks pretty dirty. Now at one point I do want to put some black backing, you know, the stuff that sticks. I'll go down that route. But for the time being I'm going to leave it off, and I'm going to see basically how well the UV works on getting rid of bacterial blooms and that kind of stuff. But as a whole, it looks pretty good. I like the look of it. Now, whether I'm going to turn around and take it back out of there and put it into the 180, I'm not too sure. If I do, and then it'll only be because I'll probably turn this one, change the UV on this one to the fluval one, and yeah, and basically I'll run a video on that one, installing it, and I'll let you know what the comparison's like between the two. I will say this before I sign out, is please support the channel, please share the video. I appreciate any sort of interaction, any feedback that you guys can give. Obviously subscribe and like and share, because it's paramount to grow the channel. I've got a few friends of mine out there on Facebook which are trying to help me out, and hopefully I can make this channel grow, move out of this place, a bit of money in my pocket, and then there's a big monster project that I want to do. And what would be really nice is if I can move out of this place, record the move, what it entails, and put it on the other side. And then obviously there's going to be upgrades to this tank, lighting, lid, cabinet, and other little bits and pieces, just to perfect the tank, and then that'll be it. My 180 at the moment is doing all right. The plants are growing. Looks like the root tabs are taking place, working, and yeah, everything looks all right so far. I'll run a little video, probably do it on my phone, on the placos that are in the bucket at the moment. Show you how I'm getting on with them. I'll release that during this week as well. I've got another video on actually just filter cleaning. I know it's might be a bit mundane for some people, but some people just actually don't know. Also, I want to talk about filtration and how I found that on Facebook, so many people that are coming up trumps with ammonia spikes. Really buy rights if you've got the right filtration, and you should be able to deal with any heavy bio loads. If it's being maintained as well, doing your water changes, that kind of thing, you should be all right. Obviously, like myself, I ran into high nitrate problems. Therefore, I've got a unit. I've bought a unit to deal with that, which works fantastically. I'll be posting that video as well. And yeah, hopefully you enjoy the channel. Hopefully I can keep on putting content out there. Please like, subscribe, share. Welcome to the Tiger Tropics. Thank you very much. Take care. Have a good evening.